Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about something that I get asked quite a bit. Which mixer should I buy? Okay, so I'm going to go through if you're regular or if you have never baked or if you want to start a business. I have quite a few mixers I want to show you and I'm going to tell you why these mixers, what's good about them and which one suits you. I do feel like sometimes I'm talking to myself, so feel free to comment down below if you think, if you agree or if you go and buy one and you think what I said matches with what you feel about the mixer. Or if you're gonna bake something, send me a photo, I would love to see it. And today I have got something next to me. It's my very first KitchenAid. So I've never owned one of these, but I thought I'll save up and buy one of these this year because it's their 100-year anniversary. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. It's totally not sponsored by KitchenAid. I do trust this brand, but I'll tell you why I have never bought this until today as well. So let's open her up. Here we go. Oh. Using my trusted global knife that I got from Masterchef. Thanks, Masterchef. It's very useful to open boxes. Oh, it's really tall. I'm too short for this. Ooh. So obviously there's the brochure with all the attachments and what else you can buy. So I bought the Pro Line, which is the biggest one. It comes with a 6.9 litre bowl, just because I make big, semi-big batches. It has this lever here where you can bring it down, chuck your ingredients in and bring it back up. So it comes with the whisk, which is the most useful tool for this mixer. And then the K hook, because it looks like the letter K. This is for your doughs and your cake mixes. And the most useless hook, this is for heavy dough like breads and things like that, but I never make bread, so. And I like kneading with my hands when I do bread, so I never use this. It gets stored in the box until forever, pretty much. And then I really like how this is one piece, so it gets washed quite easily. I'll show you that the other mixer comes in 2 pieces. It's quite annoying to wash. So that would go there. And ta-da! Yeah, this little knob here, can you see it? This is really cool because once you attach things to it, you can screw in, tighten it, and the motor works and it becomes a pasta roller, so an electric pasta roller, which you can roll your fondant with it as well. So a normal roller costs about 30-50 bucks. The attachment for this to make an electric roller is about 200 bucks, but it's so worth it. Makes your life a lot easier because you can hold the pasta as it comes out. That's the reason I bought this KitchenAid this time. You can also do all those fancy zucchini noodles, those spiralizers. If you make your own sausages, there's an attachment for sausages, so that's pretty cool too. And it shreds as well. I'm gonna compare all 3 for you now, and then you can go and decide which one suits you best. I'm gonna compare these 3 machines from the level of I'm gonna start baking to I'm an expert baker. This is the first machine I've had. I've had this since 2012, so it's pretty old, but it lasted me pretty well. And I bought this one after doing a lot of research because it has 900 watts power compared to this one, which is 500. Although Breville obviously has different technology to KitchenAid, it is very, very clever in the sense where, I'll show you, it comes with, and it's been 8 years, I have killed it. They were the first to come up with the scraper attachment, which if you start creaming, it will smoosh and actually glide across the bowl and not miss one single bit, which is nice because most of the time when you use one of these, you have to stop, open it up, use a spatula to scrape, whereas with this one, it scrapes all the time. So you're not having to open up your batter and scrape at all. So that was really cool. They came up with this 8 years ago, I think. So I've had this for a really long time. If you're starting to bake, so if you bake, let's say once a week or once a fortnight for a regular size family, or if you also do like the school yearly bake for 100-200 cupcakes, for instance, your casual birthday cake once a month, I would strongly recommend this one. It's got enough power, it's got enough, the size is just nice, it's a very versatile size. Size-wise, bigger is not better. It depends on what you use it for. The bigger it is, the heavier it is. So this is quite light still. It's easy to wash. You can chuck it in the dishwasher, and it does a really good size cake. It does an 8-inch cake, the regular size birthday cake that you can feed up to 30 people. So it's very reliable, and you can make most buttercreams, and you can even make bread dough if you wanted to. Don't use this one. This is what happens. There is a bread dough hook in here. Although if you're doing a small amount of bread dough for pizza, I would recommend using your muscles. It only takes about 15 minutes of kneading and get some exercise. So it's cheap, great one to start with, reliable, mixes well, and I prefer Breville, no offense to Kenwood, although Kenwood was the king of home mixers back in the 80s and 90s along with KitchenAid. I prefer Breville during the last decade because their whisk attachment reaches really close to the bottom of the bowl, so you can get to your egg whites if you're making a meringue, or you can get to those smaller batches when you want to. Whereas a Kenwood, you always have to fill it quite high, and you don't always make a recipe that big. So I'm sorry Kenwood, but I recommend Breville if you're a home cook. So this is a 4.9 litre bowl, just under 5 litres, which most mixers, if you go to your local stores, they will sell roughly the same size. They also come in glass bowls, which at first I thought it was a great idea because you can see the mixing, but really you can just look from the top. It's more annoying to wash a heavy bowl versus a light metal bowl. If you go to KitchenAid, they also have a 5 litre version, but they have a bigger range. They start from 3 litres all the way to this one, which is a 6.9 litre bowl. And the reason for that is they've been around much longer making stand mixers. If you want to pass your mixer down to your daughter or son, this is the brand to go. However, they are a little bit more costly. For the same size of the Breville, you're looking around $700, $800. This one was 1,600 Australian dollars or $1,300, depending on where you get it from. So they're a lot more costly, and that's because they've been around longer. The technology in here, I assume, is more reliable. I haven't used one yet, but I've seen it in a lot of pastry kitchens, and they use their machines every day. So they are pretty robust. They do last quite a while, but you are paying 2 to 3 times to a Breville. So if you're an intermediate baker, if you're whipping out a cake every week, maybe like hundreds of cupcakes every week, or perhaps hundreds of cookies, then I recommend KitchenAid because they will last longer. And lastly, this is my Hulk of the mixers. So it's really strong. It's a 10 litre bowl, or 9 point something, 10 quart, whatever that is. And it does do a lot heavier batters, so it can do a couple of cakes at a time. This is if you're looking for something industrial, if your business has boomed and you want to do thousands of cupcakes a month, go for this one. It's really cool because it has a timer, and so not only can you set the speed, but you can tell it how long to mix it for, especially if you're multitasking like me and you're a little bit, out of control. This one helps you because it will stop and it won't overmix your batter. It's great, but it is really heavy. So I'm gonna show you. Oh gosh, I can't even move it. So this one is, hang on, did I lock it? Yeah. So the bowl here, you can see, is a lot bigger. See? So my new baby is medium size. This is your 1 to 2 cake size. This one you can do 2 to 3 cakes at a time. So this one is a lot heavier, but it can do a lot more. So unless you're baking a lot, I wouldn't recommend this one. This one is really easy to hold with one hand and you can scrape and not get so tired. But this one's really heavy. So what I recommend doing is pop it into another tin, because if you're using this, you're gonna have heaps of tins around the house anyway. And then, you know, scoop from there. But it's a pain to wash, so I wouldn't recommend it unless you bake a bucket load. I don't know, if you have any more questions, definitely ask me. I love all 3 machines for different purposes. I've used Breville the most, but every time I had 4 cakes or a big batch of macarons, I have used the Anvil, and it does take the stress away because you can do less batches because it does a lot more each time. It is very similar to RoboCoupe, which is an excellent brand, but again, it's a lot more costly. It's the one that most bigger bakeries use. It is very comparable to that, and it's a little bit more expensive than the China made, but you will see that if you buy it, it's quite solid. You can't get it from your regular shops, this one. You need to go to, if you're in Melbourne, Cedar or Chef's Hat. I love Chef's Hat. They both have really good service there because it's full of chefs working there, so they will give you more advice. If you ask them, they'll give you all the details. So to recap, if you're just a beginner to somebody who would bake perhaps 10, 20 cakes a year, or maybe 1 cake a week, or a dozen cupcakes a week, then go for the Breville. It lasted me 8 years. It's fantastic. It's got really cool attachments and you can get it easily at any shop. If you want to pass it on to your kids and you know you're going to bake for the rest of your life, go for the KitchenAid, and it's quite pretty and it's a staple. And if you are baking 5 to 10 cakes a week or hundreds of cupcakes every week, then go for the Anvil or go for a RoboCoupe. That's my favorite industrial brand, but it is quite pricey as well. This one, buy at Cedar or Chef's Hat if you're in Melbourne. These guys, you can buy online or any regular shop. I hope that was helpful. If you already own one, give me your feedback. Let me know what you think, if I'm correct, if you agree, disagree, so I'm not talking to myself. That'll be really nice. Thank you in advance. If you're gonna buy one, if you have further questions, pop them down below. I'm happy to help. And then other people can read it as well. They'll probably have the same questions. So most of my aunties have this one now, or a version of this one, because every year they come out with different ones and they all love it. So I hope you can enjoy your one too. It's really exciting to have one, and I hope you get baking. And this is the last one. It is a toy by Kenwood. KitchenAid, if you're listening, please make one too. I would love to have a mini KitchenAid in my house for all the kiddies to come over and play baking with me. So after trying out the KitchenAid, I'm so glad to finally own one of my own. The only setback was probably the bowl attachment was a little bit awkward to put in, but that's because I'm so used to my other bowls at home. I guess after a couple uses, I'll get used to it and it's no major setback. I really enjoyed the size of it. I made a 1.5 size batch of marshmallows. So if you've already made marshmallows before, you would know that the bowl size really matters. It's very light, and I love that you can actually lift and lower the bowl, which makes scraping the edges really easy. And as somebody who has to stop and scrape, that functionality makes it so much easier. I can't wait to bake more with it. That's all I have to say about the KitchenAid. If you have any further questions, comment down below. I would love to hear from you, so I'm not talking to myself. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, like, and turn on notifications, and share this page with your friends. Don't forget, I have heaps of cakes on my Instagram as well, so check it out, comment, tell me which one you like, which one's your favorite. If you bake, share me yours. Bye!